All right, guys, welcome back to this week's Wisdom Wednesday. Hashtag Take Back Your Life. I believe this is episode 5. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I was actually sick last week, so we were a little bit delayed getting this message out. I didn't want you to get a watered down version because of how I was feeling. This is a really important topic to me. It's something that I want to share a story with you actually about how this particular topic impacted my life in a big way. But to let everybody know, I am doing great with my social media detox that I've been going on. I'm going on for 45 days. I'm about a week, 8 days in now, and it is it's cool. So I am keeping a journal. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Once it's all done, I'll post that content out for you as well. But this week, our conversation that we're going to be discussing is the concept of priorities. Priorities is something that I have struggled with most of my adult life. So the story I wanted to share with you, and to give you a little bit of context, some background, my wife and I both were married before, and we came to the marriage with children. My wife had 3 beautiful children. I have 1, my daughter Lily, so we're a blended family. And in the 6 years that we've been married, something that's been very important to us is we wanted to have a child of our own. But due to some, at first financial and then physical fertility issues and things like that, it hasn't been as easy as we would have liked, especially considering that we have 4 children. But it's been something that we have persevered through and we've worked diligently on. Well, 3 years ago, after consulting with some doctors, my wife and I decided that she was going to have an elective surgery that would help increase the odds of natural fertilization. But the problem is there was some potential side effects that had some really scary complications associated with it. One of which was called an ectopic pregnancy, which simply means that an embryo gets fertilized in the fallopian tube, grows, and then it basically would expand to the point where it would rupture the fallopian tube. So this is something we were very aware of after the surgery, and we were paying attention to. Well, about 2 months after the surgery, we were attempting, and it looked like we had finally gotten the result we were looking for. We had a positive pregnancy test. And so during that process, we had done some blood work, and ultimately it was going to be finalized at a follow-up post-op appointment at my wife's doctor about 3 hours away. Well, around the same time, maybe 2 months before we got the good news, I had started a new job where I was transitioning from sales and going into more of a management role, working more finite hours in a new industry that I felt like I didn't know as well as I should. There were some insecurities there, and I felt like unless it was dire, I needed to be there. And I'm also very optimistic, and I thought, hey, you know, if my wife's gonna have this follow-up, everything's gonna work out, law of attraction, very positive mindset, it'll be okay. Now, my wife had asked me, will you go with me to this appointment? It's kind of a big deal. We've spent 3, almost 4 years working really diligently to get this outcome, and there's still a chance it couldn't go our way. So I decided I was gonna go to work. I said, hey, you know what? I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can cut it. So I ended up going to work. And went to work. Everything seemed fine. My wife dropped the children off on her way to the doctor. She went to the doctor, and around lunchtime that day, I got a phone call, and my wife informed me that she did, in fact, have an ectopic pregnancy, and that she was being referred across the street to the local hospital to have a treatment that would terminate the pregnancy and ensure that there wasn't any further complications at that point in time. Well, needless to say, both of us were incredibly devastated. Her, and the fact that she had just found that the pregnancy we thought we had after all of the effort, all of the years, all of the failure that we thought was going to be a positive result wasn't. And not only wasn't, she was completely alone to deal with the grief and everything that went along with it by herself. And I, at that moment, made a decision that I wasn't going to be able to fix the problem, and that I needed to stay at work and continue working, and that I would meet her at home a little bit later in the afternoon when she got home. And I tell you this, I share this story of what I consider one of my biggest failures in my life to encourage you to reflect on the priorities you've made in your life. Something that I've realized recently is that I can very quickly tell what the focus or what the priorities are in my life based on what my focus is on. I can look at my daily agenda. I can look at my calendar of activities and see what I did the last week, 2 weeks, month, 3 months. Look at each and every week and how I spent my weekends. And I can tell you if the priorities that I write down each and every year when I'm setting my goals, like we talked about in previous weeks, I can tell if I'm living my life congruent with the priorities that I profess are my goals in life. And I challenge you to look at your schedule, open up your planner, to think back on the activities that you've done this last week or month or even this past year. The people or the things that should be priorities in your life, are you making the time for them? Are you making them the priority that you profess them to be? And I want you to think about that and embrace it, because what we focus on is in fact our priority. And it's so important that you have the right priorities in your life, because that's going to get you to where you want to go. And I'm sorry that this topic this week had a little bit of a negative undertone. It was a difficult thing for me to talk about and to share and be real with you guys on. But at the end of the day, it's something that changed my life, and it was a very dark time in my life, but I think changed it for the better. I'll always hold on to that lesson, and I'll remember anytime that I need to refocus on my priorities, that's the reminder that I need to remember. And hopefully it can be that for you too. So thank you for tuning in this week. Until next week, when we come back with our topic for week 6, take back your life. This was your Wisdom Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks.